Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Time. Hopefully, you had a full, peaceful night's rest. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Do me a favor, invite somebody, share, and let's get this thing rolling. I'm going to hit the ground running this morning because I got a lot I want to say, and I got a lot to say in a little bit of time. So let me get my good mornings out of the way. Star Right, good morning. Erica Austin, good morning. Tanya Thomas. Good morning, Tanya. I see you with your little pictures with your little cigar on your little page. Okay. Yeah, we should we haven't had a meeting in a while, Tanya, so let's get on that. But your pictures look nice. Seriously, pictures look nice. Charlotte Walker, good morning. If you are on, you can say good morning to me. I cannot acknowledge you unless you say something. That's just the way the system is set up. So good morning to all of those who've not said anything, but you're there. Good morning to you, and I'm glad you decided to join in to call for time this morning. And I've got the wrong topic up. Ah, let me fix this. So I'm still on what I call my dream series. There are so many things that hinder us from reaching our dream, reaching our goal. We fall short of the goal. We fall short of the dream, and there are a lot of reasons why. I couldn't. No one can unveil them all, but there are some things that we experience, some things that I've walked through myself, and I've learned how to overcome those things. And those are the things that I kind of want to share with you, and even share with you on this morning. Um, we're talking this morning on surviving destruction from your enemy. So I do believe, in general, in a general sense, that there is a primary enemy. Good morning, Trina. Trina, we have a primary enemy in general. I do believe that there is an evil force that works against us. And then I believe that there are evil forces that work against us that we create. I'm going to say that again. In a general sense, I believe that there is an evil force that works against us. And then I do believe that there are enemies that we create in us that work against us. So, if you study the word devil, if you ever looked at that in the Bible, it simply means the majority of the meaning. It means adversary, and one that works against you. It's adversary. You can be a devil to yourself, just based on how you believe, what you believe. You can work against the progress of self, and then you can open up yourself and allow what people are doing to you, what people are doing against you. It can work against you, if you allow it. There's some things that you have to do, and there are some things that you need to know. Just because there is a devil or an adversary against you, that does not mean it's the end. It does not mean that it is over. Just because you've had bad things to happen to you, what happens to you should not define you. I'm going to say that again. What has happened to you should not define you. You are defined based on the identity that God has given you. And regardless of what happens to you, your identity doesn't change when it is built in Him. Now, there are certain things that we have to do as it relates to who we are. There are certain changes that we have to make. And if we're going to be all that we should be, all that we were created to be, all that we were born to be, then there are sacrifices that has to be made. And in addition to those sacrifices, there are things that we have to do. One of the things that we have to do is we have to get from around people who doesn't mean us any good. I'm going to say it again. We have to get from around people who doesn't mean us any good. The other thing that we've got to do, and this is the most challenging part, is that we have got to learn how to make our enemies work for us without unveiling our plans to our enemies. I'm going to say it again. You got to learn how to make your enemies work for you. I love the Bible. I really do. I love the Bible. It's very interesting. But Jesus chose 12 men to follow him, right? He chose 12 men that would articulate a gospel, 12 men that would write this gospel. He chose 12 men to walk with him in his earthly ministry. Those 12 men, he already knew what they brought to the table. And he knew that one of them would be evil at heart. And regardless of what people say about Judas, Jesus still chose it. So there is a way that you have to position yourself so that evil can work for you. And you've got to learn and understand that it takes a positive charge and a negative charge to run a car. A positive charge and a negative charge. And I understand that we live in a world where we believe we can control what happens to us. I'm not totally convinced of that. I think some things happen beyond our control. I think some things are a result of life. Some things are a result of generational things that have happened in the earth as well as in our personal life. There are some things you can't control. And I don't believe with the notion or the theory that you're to name it, claim it, spit it and get it, blab it and grab it, call it and haul it, and whatever you said, that's what it's going to become. No, most of our saying has more to do with keeping us in the right place and convincing ourselves of truth than it does what the truth really is, because whatever you believe, you become. If it was just as easy as me speaking it in the atmosphere, I'd have $1 billion. I done spoke that many times. If it was as easy as just speaking it in the atmosphere, there are a whole lot of other things that I would have that I do not have. So you don't attain by speaking, you attain by believing. And in order to believe, you have to speak. Whatever you say, the way that the mind works, the mind grabs the language of the heart. The mouth communicates the language of the heart. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. The mouth articulates or speaks the language of the heart. And the more you say what you believe, the more you believe in what you say. It does not mean it's going to change the situation, but it will change you. So you've got to add to what you say, what you believe. You've got to add action. You've got to add action to that. Charlotte Walker, good morning. Teresha Lockett, good morning. Marie Height Pleasant, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. So if you're going to have anything, You got to first believe it's yours to have. You can't have what belongs to somebody else. That's covetousness. You're coveting. But if you're going to get what's yours, you got to believe that it's supposed to be yours. You got to believe that it is yours. And once you believe it, it becomes yours, and you're able to attain what's yours by what you believe. Now, believing is not mentally ascending to the fact. Believing is acting on what you say. So the moment you put action to what you say, you walk in the realm of belief. Good morning, Denicia Dancy. Welcome to Coffee Time. So there are going to be things that are thrown at you that are designed to hinder you, to stop you, to slow you down, and to distract you. How you handle those things will determine what you will have. You are where you are right now, and you have what you have right now based on the decisions that you've made in your past. However, you've decided to manage your life, whatever opportunities you've decided to take or turn down, those decisions over time have brought you the fruit of whatever you're eating now. You are where you are by the decisions you have made. One of the things that we like to say is, I am where I am. God did it. No, you're wrong. I am where I am. The devil did it. You're wrong as well. God doesn't do it. The devil doesn't do it. God gives you the will to choose. It's in your choosing, the choices that are set before you, that determines the outcome of where you are. When you blame God, when you blame the devil, you relieve yourself of the responsibility that needs to be had. You have to acknowledge where you are if you're going to go further. I am where I am because of the decisions that I've made in the past. It does not mean that God has not granted me grace. It does not mean that God has not granted me favor, but I still have to choose where I'm going to be in position for that grace or that favor to benefit me. If I'm going to be a beneficiary of grace and favor, I still have to make a decision. So you have to own where you are. You have to accept responsibility where you are. And it's then and only then do you have the power to change. Now, there are so many people that are against us. Oh, we got to talk about the haters this morning. You got some people that hate you for no reason. You didn't do anything to them people. I want to do probably tomorrow, I want to do a coffee time on how to deal with people you don't like. Most times the people we don't like are people that have crossed us, that have done something to us that was not to our liking. And as a result of what they've done, we've positioned ourselves in defense. And it's in defense that we become emotional. We get into our feelings because they crossed us. Then we start responding or making decisions out of our feelings, and our feelings cause us to react instead of respond. Reaction or being reactionary is automatic. It's knee-jerk reaction. You hit my knee, you jerk my leg. But when I have to respond, I have to filter that through thought. There's time that goes into thinking and how I'm going to respond. Do you know how many times I've picked up my phone and responded to a text, and I'm firing off on every cylinder? I'm firing off. I'm letting them know. I'm letting them know what it was, what it is, and what it forever shall be. And in firing off on every every cylinder, it's then I start to think about, because I proofread it, at least try to. I try not to get so far in my emotions that I don't proofread what I'm putting out. And it's in proofreading that I notice, you know what? There's a better way that I could have said that. You know what? I don't need to give them that much. You know what? I need to take this. I need to say this a different way. And it's in saying it a different way. It's in rethinking where you are that causes you to now be in a position where you are responding and you're not reacting. Reaction is impulse. When you become impulsive and you start just responding to how you feel, what you do is you open up the door. You open up the door for the wrong stuff to get in, and you could be canceling opportunities that God have set before you because you in your feelings. And it's listen, I'm going to be the first to admit it's not necessarily an easy task, but it is a necessary one. You have to be calculated in your thinking and in your motion. If you're not moving off a calculated thought, you are moving because of your feelings, which makes you impulsive. And when you become impulsive, you will ruin future opportunities. You got to think about this stuff. Um, I love reading the response. Listen, Denicia Dancy says, she says, I'm dealing with that right now with some female coworkers. Don't talk to them, but they kind of treat me different, and I don't know why. Maybe to get a reaction out of me. I don't know. So, Denicia, and it happens to all of us. You create enemies just existing. They're going to be people that don't like you. They don't like your persona. They don't like your presence. They're going to be people that are envious and jealous of you, and you'll never be able to define why. I've had people who I believe were better than me, greater than me, and they were jealous of me. And I can't unpack the why. What happens a lot of times is the light in you agitates the darkness in somebody else. When that darkness is agitated, they begin to respond out of their fear of the light. When they respond out of the fear of the light, darkness starts to set traps for you. And you have to be careful. You got to remember, light represents what we can see. Light runs away darkness. And in many cases, we're stuck in situations where we become impulsive and we allow the darkness to overshadow our light. And instead of being the light, we become a lamp. We shine in certain places, but the majority of our light is hidden because we fall into the trap that people set against us. Understand again that a car runs, it operates off of positive and negatives. So I can't define why they don't like me. You're not going to be able to define why. But once you get that signal that they don't, this is the time for you to now operate in wisdom and not impulse. Can I say something that you need to tell yourself? You need to talk to yourself all throughout the day and say, hey, get out your feelings. Think this through. Because I do believe that everything is a test. Who sends the test is irrelevant. But everything is a test. And the more that you're able to handle in wisdom, the greater the next opportunity is going to be. It's the principle of stewardship. If you are faithful and loyal over little, he will make you ruler, queen, king over much. But you can't get the much in promotion until you deal with the negative in the little. And what you're going through now is really not that serious if you think about it. In the time that we're living in, if it doesn't cost you your life, it's not that serious. We're living in days where literally our life is on the line every second that we go somewhere, every second that we're exposed to other people, every second that we pass somebody, sit next to somebody, we are opening ourselves up to sickness and disease. That's what this pandemic is. So the most serious thing that we can handle right now has more to do with death and life. The rest of this stuff is petty. It's petty. It's petty. We entertain it. We pet it. And whenever you begin to pet pettiness, you become engrossed with childlike behavior and you become childish. I had a kid. I had a child to ask me once, "What are you doing here?" And I was coming home, and the child just he looked like he could have been 10. "What are you doing here?" I ignored him. Why? Because as a child, and I'm a grown man, I'm not lowering myself to you to answer questions to someone who doesn't even understand why they are alive. You haven't been here long enough to ask me the questions. And this is the mentality that we must have, and this is part of the action that we must take. Don't lower who you are and come down to respond to somebody who really doesn't matter. They are sent to be a distraction to you. They are sent to be a hindrance to you. And if they're fighting you, they already know that you are greater. You don't know you're greater. Because why are you hating, throwing shade on someone unless you believe there's something you're not? So they see you as greater. And when your enemies or your threats see you as greater, they launch attacks to try to get rid of you, destroy you, assassinate you, and slow you down. Why? They believe that's the only way that they can get ahead. You don't have time to be speaking to children, and you have kids that are trapped in adult bodies. They look like adults, but their action tells you exactly who they are. And once you know who they are, mark them in your mind, love them in your heart, but be calculated in your dealings with them. When they say something to you on the job, if it's a manager, if it's someone in authority, or if it's someone that you need in the course of your job in order to do your job, and they'll ask you something by the water cooler, they're trying to catch you off guard. You've got to be smarter than them, and there's wisdom in you that will come alive if you learn how to manage your emotions. So they ask you questions, they're looking for a response, and you respond by the water cooler to what they ask. And they will use your answers against you. So here's what you got to do: you've got to have wisdom. When you get to your desk, send them an email. And this is what you say, this is how you address it. Based on the question that you asked me by the water cooler, I believe the answer is executive, at this, at that, whatever, 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 and do it in a professional manner, but make sure you state their question. This keeps a track record and a paper trail because I can promise you, if they're doing things like this to you, they have a goal in mind for you. And if you're going to beat them, you've got to be smart and not emotional. So many of us just rely on the feelings of our how we feel, and I don't feel like dealing with this today. And your attitude now becomes, I don't feel like dealing with this today. And you can say things and do things that ignite more trouble. You got to understand that your greatest weapon when you're trying to survive destruction from your enemies, your greatest weapon becomes peace. That peace is the one thing that they can't handle because they don't know how to attack you when you're operating in peace. When you're smiling and it's genuine, you're not trying to act. This means that you have to have your body under control. You have to have your emotions under control. You have to develop emotional intelligence. You have to have discipline over your emotions. There is verbal communication, then there are nonverbals. Your nonverbals have to match your verbals. You can't say with your mouth, I'm not going to let you bother me, but you look bothered in your face. Your demeanor says you're lying. Here's a better way of saying that. Anything that I can do to help you, just let me know. That's why I'm here. So you've got to learn to combat their hostility and their evil desires with peaceful behaviors. All right. There's another statement. Let's see here. When you align your nonverbals with peace, when you align your response with peace, that is you sowing peace. And when you sow peace, the reward, the promotion will be peaceful. So you have to position yourself in a place of peace. Let me give you this too. Let me give you this too. Because many of us believe we're smarter than the devil. You're not. He's been doing this too long. But there's an inner voice that talks to you and tell you what you need to do. Tell me I'm lying. I'll wait. If you didn't have an inner voice, if there's not an inner voice that's don't say that, don't do that, leave. Tell me. When we violate that voice and we stay where we were supposed to leave, that's when our flesh get out of control and we go to popping off. And here's what I'm trying to say to you. You're going to continue to walk in the circle that you're in and experience the same things until you pass. Don't let your emotions stop your promotion. I'm going to say it again. Don't let your emotions stop your promotion. Don't let your emotions stop your promotion. Don't let your emotions stop your promotion. Talk to yourself. Take it, calm down. It ain't worth it. Speak in peace. I've gained more in life through activating principles than I have the power of my own emotions. All my emotions have gotten me in trouble. Trying to be arrogant and prideful by not listening to wisdom. Wisdom violated is chaos created. And whenever you just respond how you feel, you won't go far. You will miss opportunities, and things that you're supposed to have will be rejected. And it's all because you're not responding in wisdom. I'm going to tell you what caused me to change. Because I used to, I used to let them know. I did. I used to let them know what it was going to be. I got tired of struggling. I did. I got tired of struggling. I got tired of repeating cycles. I knew that there was better for me. I did. I knew it was better for me, but I could never tap into that level of greatness and have what I believe was supposed or was designed for me, primarily because it's too emotional. Everything doesn't merit a response, and because you know it don't mean you should say it. Tracy McGaffey, good morning. How are you? Good to see. I've known Tracy since we were kids. Her father gave me my first radio job. I'm forever indebted to Dr. McGaffey. He was a great man. I am forever indebted to him. I really am. It's good to see you, Tracy. Um, so I got tired of struggling. I got tired of repeating the same steps, feeling like a fool. Then it got to the point where people they watch you, they monitor you. They knew how to strike against me because they knew how I was going to respond. They know certain things. Oh, he ain't gonna take that. And there were people that were getting promotions not just on the job but in life, and I'm still walking in circles. And one day I decided May this circle be broken. May this cycle change. And I could not change the situation. And I'm gonna tell you something about situations. They will follow you no matter where you are. You can go from Jacksonville to Chicago. Till you pass that test, you're gonna run into the same people. If you look at the last 5 places you've been, you're running into the same personalities for a reason. Because you've got to pass it, master it in order to get away from it. So it finally hit me. If I'm going to have better, I've got to be better. If I'm going to maintain greatness, I've got to be greater. And it caused me and I had to get help now. I did. I had to talk to people. I did. I felt like I had a chemical imbalance because certain things you say, it just get hot behind my ears and I have to respond. Let me tell you, let me tell you, let me tell you what that is. I'm gonna tell you exactly what that is. That says you have an unruly tongue and you've not learned discipline. Let me tell you how you can get discipline in your mind. You got to gain discipline in your body. People think, well, if I have discipline in my body, it begins in my mind. Well. There's a little fruit fly that bugs me, and it comes every time, a certain time. As soon as I'm on about 15 minutes, this little he go to it just running by. Well, you're not invited to the party, sir. You don't live here, and because you don't live here, I got him. I just sprayed again just for the heck of it. So I started, and I've been waiting on it this morning. Anyway, uh, there is so much greatness in you. You have to understand that greatness attracts trouble. I'm going to say it again. Greatness, it attracts trouble. You know how great you are? If you want to ever measure your greatness, look at the amount of trouble that you've had to deal with, go through, walk through, and you've experienced in your life. That literally is the measurement. The deeper your sorrow, the deeper sorrow you've experienced, or the deeper your trouble, it's an outline of the height of your glory and the height of your greatness. But many of us never attain it because we don't develop the discipline that we need. So let me tell you how you get discipline in your mind. You get discipline in your mind by disciplining your body. Your body have cravings, desires. Your body is responding to the seat in the voice of your soul. Your soul has memory. Every experience you have is stored in your soul. Your soul deals with your mind, your will, and your emotions, how you think, how you feel, how you choose. All right. So your thinking is a result of memory. Memory is a voice of the past. So whenever the soul brings up a memory, there's also an emotion attached to that memory. When the soul brings up a memory in the mind, it affects how you feel. How you feel affects what you do. So if you're going to gain control over your body, let me tell you, it's real simple. You're going to gain control in your mind. You've got to create new experiences with your body. So I'm telling you, the master of gaining control of your body and your mind, go on a fast. Discipline your diet. If you stop eating everything, you'll stop saying everything. That tongue works for you and against you in 2 ways. Two ways. Um, One, Um, you need to pour bleach into your sink drain, son. Those type of flies come through the drain, and bleach is the only way to rid yourself. Well, it's not a lot, and I only see it. I don't think they're coming in that way because I've done that. There's a door to my balcony right here, and I leave that door open. I think that's their point of entrance. But anyway, that has nothing to do with what I said. I appreciate your wisdom, Sean. That's my sister, y'all. Yeah, she just feels like she can just come on here and just give me wisdom anytime she wants about anything. Instead of just picking up the phone or shooting me a text, she wants to give it on coffee time. So let's stop. Let's pause, everybody, because I think this is necessary. I love my sister. I love her so much for her wisdom and who she is in my life. Let's just stop for a second and just give her a great big round of applause for all of her wisdom. All right, now back to the subject at hand. Thank you so much. Fasting creates weakness in the body. When your body becomes weak, your mind becomes strong. If you want to disable your emotions, stop eating. Stop eating sweets, get away from starches, and gain control of your diet. There's a direct correlation between your body and your mind. Okay. I know a person's attitude by looking at their body. I do. I can tell your weaknesses by looking at your body. When the body is out of control, that means there's a lack of discipline in the mind. If you can't control yourself at the table, you'll never be able to control your emotions fully. The book of James says it this way. It says, as a rudder um, controls a ship, a little small rudder controls a ship, so the tongue controls the body. I'll say it again. As a little rudder controls the ship, the tongue controls the body. Now, Rhonda Oliver says, so true, fasting and prayer is the key. Well, I'm going to help you with that. I disagree, Rhonda. I disagree. And I'm going to show you why. You don't have to pray to fast. Fasting is giving up. It's a principle. Fasting is a principle. It really is. If you rid your body of the wrong food, you cleanse your body and replace it with the right food, then you strengthen your body and that strengthens your mind. Prayer is communication. Prayer is communication. Prayer is for people that believe in prayer, but there are people that don't believe in the principle of prayer because there are people that don't believe in God. But you can still activate the principle of fasting and still gain the same results. So talking to God doesn't change situations. It does not unless God give you a miracle, because God is bound by the principle and laws that he set in motion. So praying or communicating to God is not going to change your flesh. God's not going to get involved in something he gave you authority over. He gave man dominion. And one of the problems in the church is that God gave us dominion, domain, ownership, right? He gave us a will to choose. We invite God in our choices with prayer. But if there's not action in the body, prayer is irrelevant. What is God going to say to you he hasn't already said? And I'm not saying prayer is important. Prayer is very important, especially in the life of the believer. But prayer alone or fasting and prayer keeps your communication open with God. But what is God going to say to you he hasn't already said? Most of the stuff that we're praying about, we already have the answers for. It becomes redundant. Our prayer time should be in the building of our spirit, It's like reading the Bible. That stuff don't work for you if you don't believe. Reading the word and believing the word are two different entities. So fasting paralyzes the body and gives strength to the mind. Prayer, communication with God, just opens the spirit up to receive the wisdom of God, the word of God. But if you want to disable your flesh, if you want to gain control of your body, stop giving it everything it desires. Stop obeying its cravings. And it takes a sharp mind to be able to do that. It takes a sharp mind for us to do that. Fasting reduces the body. Fasting creates discipline. Fasting weakens the body and the will. You want to see humility? Go without eating. It doesn't just weaken your body, but it weakens your will. And you're more open to not only hear what God is trying to convey, but it also kills pride and make you more apt to operate in obedience. So if you're going to survive destruction, if you're going to survive destruction, I'll say it again. If you're going to survive destruction, you got to kill your will, and killing of the will happens through the destroying of the flesh. Well, you destroy your flesh every time you don't give it what it's asking for. And there has to be a balance with that. So when your enemies come out against you, if the flesh is dying, then wisdom will stand for you. You know, every day when I end coffee time, I say you were born to win, predestined to succeed. There's nothing that can happen to you today. Here's the part that I want to. There is nothing that can happen to you today that the wisdom on the inside of you is not capable of handling. But in order for wisdom to have its rightful place, you gotta slow down, be quiet, and let wisdom speak. How does wisdom speak? There is a voice inside of you that tells you when you're right, when you're wrong, when you need to be quiet. You can't yield to that voice because your flesh is too strong. You've given it too much. When you feed your flesh, you strengthen it to stand against the will of your mind. If you want your will or spirit to rule, then you got to starve that flesh. How do you starve the flesh? Stop giving yourself what you're craving. When you stop feeding this, it weakens, and the strength of your heart, the strength of his word, literally begins to stand and operate for you. Because now you're able to move your soul out of the way. So you're not attached to old thoughts because you created new ones. And every emotion that has been assigned to every thought, you're able to disable. Stop letting your past come alive in you. That's the only thing the soul does. Again, the soul houses your mind, your will, and your emotions. Most of the soul is reminding you of your past, and every experience in the past is connected to an emotion, and every emotion causes you to feel a kind of way, think a certain way, and then you respond. If you want to gain control of your life, if you want to gain control, and survive the destruction that your enemies are setting against you, that comes through wisdom. But there's a difference in having wisdom and executing wisdom. It's not just good enough to have it. That's an advantage because some people don't have it. But now you've got to be in a place of discipline where you can execute what you have. That's Call for Time. Thank you all for tuning in this morning. That's all I have. Thank you for your love, your support. I do this for the love of God, for the love of the people. As long as you show up, I'm going to try my very best to be here. Remember, you were born to win, predestined to succeed. There's nothing that can happen to you today that the wisdom inside of you can't handle. But you got to calm down, slow down, be quiet. Use emotional intelligence, know when to speak, when to be quiet, and let wisdom speak. When wisdom speak, you will always win. You all have a great day. And remember to think higher, speak life. Go be productive. Do something you've never done before. It's never too late to start again. Peace out.